Hey, it's Aaron, and today I'm going to do an interior walkthrough with the shaky cam in a 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. I will have to admit right up front, I've really been looking forward to driving this, and it's everything I expected. It's a well done pickup truck that's based on a car and is just about the right size. For comparison, I will have a Ford Maverick in about 2 weeks. So watch for that one as well. And watch for the full review on this, which we'll also publish sometime around the time this does. But a couple of things to note. 2.5 liter engine. It's an inline 4. You can get it either standard or turbocharged. I very much recommend the turbocharged model. Our option. And also towing on this, if equipped, it can tow 3,000 pounds with that standard 4, and it can tow 5,000 pounds with the turbo. But a caveat there is no integrated trailer brake, so you have to do an aftermarket one. And if you're towing more than if you're towing more than 4,000 pounds, you really should have trailer brake control. But regardless, there's what's going on there. This is about the interior of the car. So let's get started. You're going to see a lot of Santa Fe here. There's a lot of Hyundai Santa Fe in the design elements and shared everythings in the Santa Cruz here. So yeah, let's just get started. We'll start where we usually do and walk around the car. This review brought to you by reading, because writing and arithmetic are overrated. Starting in the usual spot, here you got the door handle. Down here you got your mirrors and whatnot and windows. So window lock here, back windows, front window, door locks. This selects which side mirror you're adjusting, and this adjusts those side mirrors. Over here you have on the first part of the left side of the dash, you got your dimmers, you got your cargo light. If you need to turn it on manually, it turns on for a minute when the doors are open and closed, but it doesn't stay on for very long. And then traction control right there. Then first to the vents up here, it doesn't look like much, but it actually moves a fair amount of air. And because there are so many vents in here, you do get pretty okay airflow. Not so much in the back. There's only 2 vents back there, but you know, it's not horrible. It's a very small cabin. So looking at the steering wheel, over here you have mostly infotainment controls. So here's your voice activation, which works pretty okay. It's not great, it's not terrible, works okay. Over here you choose the mode of entry. That's mostly for radio versus streaming versus Bluetooth, etc., etc. And then down here, this is channel changing. It is in reverse, so up is actually going back, down is going forward. Over here is your volume control. This is the telematics. I just like the word, it doesn't actually apply here. This is the phone button. Also, if you don't have a phone connected, you can push here and it will prompt you to connect a phone. This is your favorite button. It's nice and big and prominent, so when you're driving along and your favorite song or whatever comes on, you can go click and it will select that as a favorite, market. And then if you're on like satellite radio or whatever, this will it will prompt you to say that song's playing on this channel. Do you want to switch over there? Over here also, I believe the Sirius radio pre-records that, so it automatically starts the pre-recording. I'm not sure on that part. It does in some vehicles. I didn't notice whether or not it does it in this one. Over here is your driver information stuff mostly. So right here, this selects the menu. It shows right there in the middle. That's your driver information screen. This is for cruise control. Turns it on and off basically. Down here you have your set, resume. You can push it to pause or set, right, and then go faster or slower, and then in the middle you push it to pause or resume. And then over here, this goes up and down through those menus over there. This is the lane assist. It's actually okay in this vehicle. It's not too aggressive, but a lot of people get annoyed by it. That's an easy way to turn it off right there. And then this is your following distance for your adaptive cruise. So you can, you know, set how far away you want to be from the other vehicles on the roadway. Here is the first of the paddle shifters. Marginally useful in this. This has an 8-speed automatic dual clutch transmission, which shifts beautifully. Wonderful transmission. This is kind of useful. I can see how it might be useful to have control of the gears when you're, say, going downhill with a trailer, but honestly, this doesn't tow enough that that is seriously going to be an issue unless you are right at the edge of its capacity. Most of the time, I think the transmission will take care of itself. Over here, you have a dongle for lighting. So you can see it's on auto lighting there. You can move it around to select different options. And then you have up and down for your signal turns, and then you have back and forth for your brights. Over here, you have your washer, wipers, etc. So up and down for your washers and wipers. This right here is a toggle on both sides, so you can grab it from either side, right? And that sets the aggressiveness of the wipers or speed. Now, let's look at the instrument cluster. So it's a digital cluster, you notice that. This is an upgrade option. This is the limited model, by the way, so some of the stuff you're seeing here is not in the lower models. This part right here is standard in the limited. It's an option on some of the lower trim packages. So a couple of cool things. First, this is all digital, right? Everything here. Over here, you've got the tachometer. Over here you've got, or backwards, over here you've got the speedometer, over here you got a tachometer. You can change this to Canuck miles per hour if you need it. It just quickly changes. Down there you got the fuel. I didn't use a whole lot of it. I did one highway loop. The rest of it was driving around town hauling my kids to different things. Over here and grabbing some loads of stuff and whatever. I hauled several things in this. I hauled some pellets for the wood stove. I hauled some lumber that I needed, and I carried some just miscellaneous stuff. So we'll talk about fuel economy in a minute. Over here is the engine heat, and then down here you can see this is variable. It changes, but this is your average MPG for the current. And then that's the outside temperature. Here's how much you have left in your tank. Over here is the odometer. And then all of this right here is the driver information screen. Before I show you that though, I want to show you something going on with these. If I turn on the left turn signal, it shows me that side camera on, so that's the camera that's mounted on the mirror. It's also part of the surround view 360 camera. It shows you your blind spot. So I can do it the other direction too. Really cool. Now you see in there what it changed to. See that 0.8, that's the RPM. Over here, it shows 0 because that's how fast I'm going. So you don't lose what the gauge is showing you when you do that. It's really cool. Now, let's have a look-see at the driver information screens. This is the one I've mostly been on because I like a digital speedometer. I could actually change this to be digital, but I don't, I didn't want to dig through the menus. It's right there on the driver screen. But I can go through, you can see there's some vehicle info. If I go up and down through these, so I'm just using this to go up and down, then I can see the different options in the sub menu, I guess. And then this is for all of your driver's aids, whatever you've got running. So if I turn off the lane keeping, it goes away, goes that kind of thing. And then this right here, I can switch it to show like how long it's been running. This is the very current, so literally been on for 11 minutes. And then you can see it would show me some trip info here since the last refueling. So this is basically my driving on this. You can see I did my highway loop, and then you can see the average and so on. And then the same thing again because I didn't set a trip on this. So really cool and kind of useful little screens there. Over here you have your push button start stop. Now getting to the infotainment screen, here's your Duke's light. Here's the camera that just shut off because I forgot to swap the battery out. Anyway, here's your Duke's lights. Here's more vents. These are the primary ones for up front, and they do a pretty good job. Easy to adjust. You go like this, so close like that, open like this, and then you can move it up and down. And then here's the infotainment screen. Everything right now is basically off, so this is kind of like the main menu default not doing anything screen. Then if I turn it on, I'm going to have stereo come on, so I'll just shut that down. So once I turn it on, you can see the screen stayed the same. Now I can jump around. So I could go to like the radio using the radio button, and it has the cool, you know, gas tubes for the Kia Hyundai like in their menus. Media, if I'm streaming off of somewhere. Here's some setup screens, lots of apps and whatever's in here, so I can set all kinds of things up. Blue Link is Hyundai's well, actual telematics. And then you can see device connections. That's where you would go to set up a phone, and some vehicle settings, general settings for this right here. Voice recognition, you can train it a little bit so it goes a little bit better and faster. You can change the display stuff, things like that. Go to a map right here and look at that, and then nav, of course, and then there's another favorites button. This favorite button will also let you look up your favorites if anything is playing, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, that's kind of what you got going on here. And then up at the top, rarely changing, you always have this back button here, and this is the main screen, and then you can flip through, and some of this stuff is already available anyway. So here's a lot of the apps in case you need to know. On and off right here, you saw me turn it on and off. Here's the volume. This is one thing I don't like. I prefer a knob, but you can do it from the steering wheel as well. So that's what I've been doing. And then here's the rest of it, seek and track and so forth. And then down here, here's temperature control. I have it set to auto, so the automatic temperature is running. You turn it off like that. And then over here you have your, you know, you can sync the two sides. You can break them up so you can do dual zone. Whoops, almost spilled my coffee. And here's the back button, haha, recirc. And then over here you got front defrost, rear defrost here, diffuser right here, and the rest of your climate controls. Now down in there, you can see there's a spot to drop your phone over here. That is a wireless charging port in this particular model. Over here is a good spot to just drop stuff. And then you can see USB, that's the actual USB data, and over there is USB power only. And then you can see there's the button to turn the key on and off for the wireless charging. And then there's a 12-volt right there. So pretty cool there. Then you can see the cup holders. Now I'm using a regular coffee mug, doesn't really fit in there, but the cup holders are pretty good size and work pretty well. I haven't found a fault with them other than when I bring the wrong style of cup. Since I'm not driving anywhere, I don't need a proper travel mug. Now for the shifter. Triggers in the front, and you pull it back, and then you can see what it does. And then if you put it in drive, you can shove it over and shift manually up and down through the gears in lieu of paddle shifting. Over here you have some drive controls of various kinds. So here's your differential lock. Locks the center differential, forces 50-50. Over here you have a descent control. Do not use this when trailering. Just FYI, it is not made for that. This is for your parking cameras. So if I turn that on, there's the parking cameras, right? So you can see the world around you. And then you can push it again to shut it off. This is your parking brake set. You pull to set, push to release. Here's your launch control. Just kidding. This is the auto hold, so it keeps you from rolling down a hill. And then up here you got upside down controls for your seating and heating and so forth. So seat cooling right here, button warmers right there, steering wheel warmer right there, and then for the passenger side. And then this button opens this little storage cubby, which is a pretty good size for miscellaneous stuff like your mail. It's the kind of stuff I end up throwing in mine all the time. And then just here's the seating. This is the faux leather, and really nicely done. I really like the bolstering is just right. This isn't a serious off-road vehicle, and it's not a sport vehicle. You don't need giant bolsters. This is just right to be comfortable. The front seats in this are very, very comfortable. And then you see just kind of the dashboard design, my other camera that's now useless because it died, but and then there's there's the big glove box, and here's just kind of the interior. Now, I'm not a big fan of black on black, but the slight breakup in color is nice, and this cloth right here versus the hard, well, this is soft plastic, but versus what looks like hard plastic is a pretty good touch. Again, lots of Santa Fe in that design. From that model. Back here is the back seats. In my full review, I get back there and I give a lot more information on, you know, what the headroom is like and stuff. Spoiler alert, it's not that great, but, you know, it's not horrible. It's just not great. Also, in my full review, I talk about the cargo space and how that works and everything else. I'm not going to redo it here. It's a really good cargo bed. Hyundai thought of a lot of really smart little things to really keep it on par with what's expected. So, very good vehicle. I really enjoy that Hyundai spent the time to really think this out. They didn't just take like a Santa Fe or some other crossover model, chop the back of it off, call it a pickup truck, and sell it. They did a really good job of matching lots of little things to what somebody buying in the car-based truck segment would want. Plus, they made sure that the rear section, that cargo area, is useful. As for towing, I didn't get to do it. This is not equipped with a tow package, but I very much suspect it would be okay with towing if you're towing regular loads. If you're getting past that 3,000 pound mark though, the turbo engine will probably be okay. It's not going to be really quick, but it's not going to struggle too much. Your problem is going to come with braking. And, you know, control of that trailer. If you're getting that heavy, you're really kind of pushing past what you should expect on the regular from a vehicle like this. You know, but it's totally capable of doing it. So if on the occasion you want to drag that camper up to the lake or whatever, if it's not too heavy, you can do it with this. So nicely done, well thought out vehicle. Has a couple of things that I could, you know, do without maybe. And also I break down the Monroney, the pricing and everything for this in that full video, so, or that full review. So go check that out. All right, that's all I got. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.
Subscribe.